If you're the kind of person with discriminating tastes who takes pride in owning the very best, then you've just made an excellent decision. You've acquired a Range Rover, the finest four-wheel drive sport utility vehicle in the world. Range Rover is an authentic 4x4, made by Land Rover, which is dedicated to manufacturing only four-wheel drive vehicles. For nearly 50 years, Land Rovers have been the choice for adventures and expeditions around the world. They're sold in over 100 countries where people need rugged, reliable, go-anywhere transportation. 25 years ago, Land Rover engineers set out to design a new breed of transport, one which was, of course, supremely capable off-road, but in addition, a fine luxury automobile as well. The rest is history. Today, the Range Rover is peerless. It has superior off-road capability and unmatched on-road ride and handling. It's very sophisticated and has state-of-the-art electronic features. Hi, I'm Bill Baker, and I'm here to explain many of those wonderful features to enhance your ownership experience. Now, everything I talk about is contained in this book, The Owner's Manual. It is still the most comprehensive guide to operating the Range Rover, and I strongly urge you to take the time to read it so you'll know how to set your memory seats or how to approach a 45-degree slope. However, we know you're anxious to get going, and there are some features that are better demonstrated than simply described. So we've put together this video to supplement the Owner's Manual, sort of an additional learning aid. But don't be surprised when I give frequent reminders to refer to the manual for more detailed explanations of some functions as we go along. Many times I'll also refer to the Message Center. This is a very helpful display in the dash. It sort of reminds me of an alter ego with its constant updates on vehicle operation. We've designed this video to be watched from beginning to end, or if you're looking for specific information, a chapter at a time. All the chapters are listed on a handy card included with this video. They have this title page, so you can fast forward your VCR to just the part you want. Notice the number in the upper right-hand corner. That indicates the current chapter and is an additional aid to finding the right section. So even though there are no mysteries here, we like to say that this may open up a whole new level of awareness for this amazing vehicle. And what better place to start than with the key? This is the key to your new Range Rover security system. It's state-of-the-art and designed to ensure your peace of mind. However, I urge you to read your owner's manual so you'll thoroughly understand the system's operation. Actually, the Range Rover is provided with two high-security radio remote keys labeled 1 and 2. Additional keys are available from your dealership. Now let me show you two details that are small examples of the tremendous thought that's been put into this system. First off is this flip blade design. It'll tuck right into the side of the key case to protect pocket or purse. Next, if the key has a low battery, the vehicle will detect that and the message center will advise you so you can replace it. Now you can lock or unlock the vehicle using either the key or the remote transmitter, but the system has been designed to primarily use the remote transmitter. That's why there's only one door lock, and it's located here in the driver's door. But once again, we recommend that you use only the key transmitter to lock and unlock your vehicle. Now here's a quick overview. Press the lock button like this to lock the vehicle and set the alarm sensors on the hood, the doors, and the tailgate. This will also immobilize the engine. Use this mode if you leave people or pets inside the vehicle, since it will not turn on the interior or volumetric alarm. However, for maximum security, we recommend that you superlock the vehicle. To do this, push the lock button not once, but twice, like this. When you do this, the turn signals will flash 3 times to confirm that it's superlocked. With the windows closed, the interior motion detector will scan inside the vehicle for any movement, and if there is none, it will then set the deadlocks and volumetric alarm. This is the most secure condition, making it impossible to manually unlock the doors from inside the vehicle, even if someone breaks the glass. Now, I suggest that you get into the habit of super locking your Range Rover each time you leave it. Now, if the door is not closed when locking, you'll hear a warning beep, and the cause will show in the message center. Now, there are a couple of clever features to the system. One is auto relock. If you should inadvertently unlock the vehicle and then not open a door or turn the key in the ignition system, in about 1 minute the vehicle will relock itself automatically. Now, this may surprise you the first time, but don't worry, you're not locked out because you have the key. Another one of the neat features about SuperLock is when unlocking, it enables you to use the key-operated memory feature. Pushing and holding the unlock button on key 1 will reset the seats and mirrors to memory position 1, and the same applies for key number 2. So how do you set the memory seats? That's coming up in the next chapter. In this chapter, let's review comfort and convenience features. The controls for the power seats are conveniently located in the seat side panel, where they can be easily adjusted before entry or while seated. The lower seat cushion, the seat back, lumbar support, and the headrest. Now, once you have both the driver and passenger seats adjusted to suit individual preferences, you can store these settings in the seat memory functions. To set the memory buttons, first depress the main memory switch, then simultaneously press either memory 1 or 2. In addition, the driver's seat memory will also store side view mirror adjustments and instrument panel light levels in one of 2 memory settings. Instrument panel lights are adjusted using the thumb wheel on top of the turn signal stalk. Side view mirrors are adjusted using a 4-position switch on the center console. Move the adjacent slide switch left for the driver mirror and right for the passenger side mirror. The full explanation of how to use the system is in the owner's manual. Now, to adjust the steering wheel, first pull this lever all the way out. Hook your thumb around the rim of the steering wheel and pull the lever towards you. Now you can move the wheel in and out and up and down. When you get it where you like it, release the lever and you're all set. Now hook up your lap shoulder belt. Of course, the Range Rover has dual front airbags, but we always want you to wear your lap shoulder belt. Airbags alone do not provide sufficient protection. Now let me call your attention to this yellow label on the front passenger and rear outboard lap shoulder belts. It refers you to the owner's manual for detailed instructions on how to install child seats. We're going to show you how to do that in a chapter a little bit later on. But I want to remind you right now, never use a rear-facing child seat in the front of a Range Rover. Their design is not compatible with the airbag restraint system. Now here's a handy feature. When shifting into reverse, the side view mirrors will tilt down to better enable you to see what's behind the vehicle when backing up. You can adjust the angle of the tilt by using the side view mirror adjusting switch. The angle of the tilt will be stored in memory position 1 and 2 if you prefer, or it can be disabled altogether. Check the owner's manual for the correct procedure. The rear view mirror can be set to automatically darken at night by simply pushing this auto button. You'll know the system is active by this green indicator light. And here's a neat thing the engineers thought of. Whenever you shift to reverse at night, the mirror will automatically brighten so you can see where you're backing. Above the rear view mirror is the map light and interior light unit. The center button turns the lights on and off. If you'd like to have the interior lights stay off, push and hold this button, and the message center will confirm that the interior lights are off. To reactivate them, push and hold the button, and the message center will confirm that they're on again. Now, anytime the doors or tailgate are open, the interior lights will come on. They'll stay on for 10 minutes, at which point they'll automatically turn off to keep you from accidentally draining the battery. Next, let's take a look at the instrument binnacle and the message center. In the last chapter, we saw the message center. Now let's take a look at the entire instrument binnacle. The instrument panel includes a full complement of electronic analog gauges, warning lights, and an alphanumeric message center designed to keep the driver informed with up to 150 vehicle condition reports. It'll even remind you when to refill the washer bottle. The warning lights go through a self-check routine on startup, but should all be out before the vehicle is driven off, with the exception of the ABS warning light, which goes out when the vehicle exceeds 5 miles per hour. You should consult your owner's manual if any warning light remains on. Over here, we have the main trip odometer reset button. Now the button for the fuel door is located on the left. To open the fuel door, you have to have the engine stopped, the ignition turned off. Push the button and the fuel door will pop open on the right. And by the way, while we're opening things, the interior release for the hood is here. The exterior safety catch is located between the word range and Rover. Reach in, press it, and lift. The hood is supported by a double-acting gas strut. To lower the hood, first pull down, push up, and then close it. Next up, the control stalks on the steering column. Well, the control stalks on either side of the steering column control a number of functions that have to be handy for the driver. The stalk on the right exclusively controls the washers and wipers for both the front and rear windows. This bottom button controls the washers for the windshield. And the top one is for the rear window. And there are a selection of wiper speeds from intermittent to fast. To turn on the rear window intermittent wiper, just pull the lever toward you. Intermittent speeds for both front and rear wipers are adjusted by this thumb wheel. And here's another helpful feature from Range Rover engineers. If the wipers are working and you shift into reverse, the rear wiper will automatically come on to make sure you have a clear view while backing up. With the headlights on, the headlight wash wipe will automatically run through a programmed cycle on every second use of the front windshield washer to keep the headlights clean. And there's one more thoughtful feature on the wash wipe system. If the windshield washer fluid is low, the message center will advise you, and the vehicle will automatically cut back on consumption of fluid until you refill the reservoir. Over on the left side, the left stalk controls the turn signals, high beams, flash to pass, dash illumination, and speed warning trip computer functions. As I've already mentioned, this thumb wheel varies the dash illumination level. There are two buttons at the end of the stalk. The top button controls the audible speed warning signal and can be set to remind you if you go over a speed that you've pre-selected. Again, see the manual for full details. This lower button is for the trip computer. Push repeatedly until Trip 2 is displayed. Now, push and hold to reset the Trip 2 odometer to 0. During your next trip, you'll be able to monitor your range to empty and average speed. Remember, once again, the calculated data comes from the Trip 2 odometer, not the main odometer, which is reset with the button on the instrument panel. Now, let's take a look at dashboard switches and controls. Okay, now here are the controls on the dashboard. This is the main headlight switch. The first position turns on the parking lights at all four corners. The second position turns on the main headlights. Here's a nice feature. You can activate a 25-second headlight delay by first turning off the engine, then turn off the headlight switch. This will leave the lights on so you can see your way when leaving the vehicle. The message center will let you know the delay function is operating. With headlights in low beam mode, this button turns on the front fog lights. The next button is for the rear fog lights, which are very bright and designed for poor visibility conditions in the fog. Use at other times, especially on a clear night, should be avoided because they will probably irritate the driver behind you. These are the controls for the air suspension, which we'll get to in the next chapter. This is the four-way flasher switch, which is to be used only in an emergency. And finally, this is the cruise control master switch. It activates the entire system, which is then operated with buttons which are located on the steering wheel. By the way, the icon on the cruise control switch is the British symbol for a motorway, which is their term for freeway. A minute ago, we skipped over the air suspension system. It's the only one of its kind in the world, so we've given it its own chapter, and that's what's coming up next.